Everyone, really appreciate your being here. In April 2013, under the leadership of the late Mayor Ed Lee and then Supervisor London Breed, the City and County of San Francisco resolved to undertake something that had never been done before. In the face of decades of federal underinvestment in public housing, they put together a massive plan to utilize the new Rental Assistance Demonstration Program to undertake massive repairs across 29 public housing properties in San Francisco. The Rental Assistance Demonstration Program did not offer any new funding, but instead flexibility around rules so that cities could utilize creative ways to finance the work. What San Francisco accomplished, renovating 3,400 homes at a total development cost exceeding $2 billion, is a true model for the nation. If there's one lesson to be learned from all of this work, for me, it is that monumental things can be accomplished when an entire community across all levels of government and with the private sector come together with a shared vision. It is my tremendous honor to introduce Leader Nancy Pelosi.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Don, for your great leadership. And this is, today is a very special day for us personally and officially because of what it means to the residents here. And what it means to the residents here is that they have been treated with great dignity and respect in having a say in how this place, this wonderful Sala Burton Manor, has been developed, to recognize the leadership of our dearly departed Mayor Lee with the RAD program, working with the then president of the Board of Supervisors and now our distinguished Mayor of San Francisco, London Breed, to bring this to fruition. There are many factors at work, and you'll hear from folks like Maria Barry with the Bank of America, because there's a private sector role. Beverly will talk to us about her experience here. I just want to talk for a moment about Sala Burton. What an honor it is for us that John Burton, a former member of Congress, former president of the California State Senate and California Democratic Party, so many titles, so much commitment to our country and to this great state of California. Sala Burton Manor. Someone said to me earlier, I never had, Don actually said I hadn't the pleasure to meet her. Sala Burton served in Congress over 30 years ago, but she was a force in our community for a long time as a member of the team of Sala Burton and Phil Burton. Phil Burton served in Congress for a long time along with his brother, John. Sala Burton cared so much about, again, the dignity and worth of every person, and always was saying that it really matters that people have the dignity of a home, that the respect we give them and the decency and the just dignity of where they live is a sign of how much we connect with them and their aspirations, and then they can do anything. And Sala Burton, again, was a force in our community, a person of deep principle and values, who would be so happy, wouldn't she, John, to see this beautiful place. Now, we just met the Colonel, and he showed us his apartment. It's lively, and he told me he was his own personal decorator there, and that it was an advantage to him that when these apartments were being rehabbed, that he moved to a different floor, then came back. But one of the things that goals that we all shared was that we would have recognition of people in the neighborhood to have access to facilities, and just keeping some people in the building helped to facilitate that. That is about the personal side, about the official side of having this as a priority. On the private sector side, it's really important to note that much of the housing in San Francisco, affordable housing that has been developed because we had a tax code that enabled us to take advantage of the low-income housing tax credit. Thank you, Bank of America, for doing that and being so much a part of this. You can ask any of our nonprofits, and I'm certainly the Tenderloin folks would subscribe to the fact that that public-private partnership has been essential. I have to say, sadly, that much of that has been diminished in the tax bill that passed last year in the Congress of the United States, signed by the President, and we really have to reverse that because it is it had been an impetus for us to have more affordable housing. Now that is being diminished. But thank you to Bank of America for participating up until now to make today's ribbon cutting possible. So thank all of you who've had anything to do with it officially, nonprofit-wise, for-profit-wise, in every way. And again, as one who succeeded Sala Burton in Congress, knew her values, knew how important our seniors and our people with physical challenges are to our community, and how proud she would be to have a facility dedicated to their health, well-being, and just the dignity of it all. Sala Burton would be very proud. Thank you for the opportunity to participate today. Thank you.
It is a huge honor for me, and I hope you will join me in giving a warm welcome to our mayor, Mayor London Breed.
It truly is an honor to be here today with people, I think, that are legends in the political world, including John Burton and Leader Pelosi, and the work that they've done to pave the way for opportunities like this. Many of you know I grew up in public housing, a notorious public housing development called Plaza East, also known as OC, Out of Control Projects. And it was definitely a out-of-control experience. We had a lot of challenges, and the conditions that I grew up in, sadly, when I became a member of the Board of Supervisors, were a lot of the same conditions that too many of our public housing residents were still living in. I know what it feels like to live with the mold, with the broken elevators, with the roaches, with the neglect, with the messed up pipes, the need to use someone else's bathroom on a regular basis because yours didn't work, the bathtub that didn't work, the frustration, the hopelessness, and the feeling that nobody cared. And that's why when I became a member of the Board of Supervisors, my first year, I went to Mayor Ed Lee, and I said to him, when he asked me what my top 3 priorities were, I said, public housing, public housing, public housing. When you have had to live in the kinds of conditions, sadly, that these buildings, that existed in these buildings for over 20 years of your life, you wouldn't think about anything other than making sure that we change those conditions. And immediately, Leader Pelosi stepped up to the plate to provide the opportunity to work with us down this path. We began work in 2013, as Don Falk said, and Olson Lee was the director of the Mayor's Office of Housing. We had many fights in the community talking to people about what this would do. And as I said, I grew up in Plaza East, and when Plaza East was torn down and rebuilt, my family and I were displaced. We weren't moved on the property. That's why it was so important that we assured the residents that we were going to make sure that they get back into the same unit that they have lived in, that we were going to rehabilitate the unit, move them within close proximity of where they live so that they felt that we meant exactly what we said we were going to do. And we made it happen. Here in Sala Burton, we made it happen for 100 residents in 89 units. Beautiful units, a beautiful community room, a clean place, an affordable place, a transformative place for the people who deserve nothing less. And I am so proud to be mayor of such an amazing city where opportunity can exist, where change can happen. This is what happens when we make the right decisions, when we work together, when we do what's necessary to work with all of our city departments, our private partners, our federal and state agencies. And had it not been for a fierce leader in Congress, we would have never gotten as far as we've been able to get with rehabilitating over 1,600 units so far and still counting. In the Pings, in Westside Courts, we finished Pitts Plaza, the place that Ed Lee, myself, Secretary Castro, and you made him come out to San Francisco. We took a tour of Pitts Plaza, and it is beautiful with free Wi-Fi for the residents, a transformation. That's what this is about. No longer will residents in San Francisco who live in public housing be neglected, live in substandard conditions. You are residents of San Francisco just like anyone else. And what we have been able to accomplish here by renovating this property demonstrates our commitment to you now and in the future. I want to thank TNDC for their work and Don Falk and his team. I want to thank Kate Hartley for the work that she's done with the Mayor's Office of Housing. Barbara Garcia is here from the San Francisco Housing Authority. Thank you all, Jeff Buckley and Olson Lee, and so many people who played an important role in making this incredible project worthy of the name that it represents, Sala Burton Manor. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor Breed. TNDC has had a partnership with the Bank of America that extends back 30 years. Please join me in welcoming Maria Berry.
Hello, everyone. It's so great to be here with you today. On behalf of Bank of America, I want to really start out with many thank yous, starting with Leader Pelosi for your support of affordable housing and the RAD program, Mayor Breed for your support when you were a supervisor and now as mayor, Mayor Lee, the late Mayor Lee, and Kate and the staff of the Office of Housing and Community Development, TNDC, as Don said, we have a partnership that's gone back 30 years, which is just so tremendous. HUD, the Housing Authority, thank you for trusting the new partners and really and overseeing this and ensuring that they'll be a steward of these properties going forward. And also want to thank our Bank of America team, Ari Beliak, who was the head of organizing this for our firm, told me that we had over 40 people working on this. So it was quite an initiative and something that we were just so incredibly pleased and proud to be a part of. This rehab is about so much. You know, it's about the mechanical and life safety changes. It's about the public spaces now being so welcoming and really creating a great sense of community. But it's also about the residents, as everyone's been saying. It's really about transforming their lives, and a major part of this was a social services component that was included in our participation, and I got to hear more about that this morning and just what it was able to do to make this transition so much easier for the residents. So when they moved into their new home, everything went so much easier for them, and a lot of the little things were taken care of, which we're so happy to hear and be part of. This is my second time out to look at these developments, and a couple were finished my last trip, and now getting to see Sala Burton Apartments today is so wonderful. These homes are incredible, and I will say that, you know, it's fantastic to see when you walk into the room, the smiles on the residents' faces, the stories about how nobody really knew each other before, and now there's a real sense of community. And that's what it's all about for us at Bank of America. It's about providing the financing so that the residents can live in safe, comfortable homes that will be nice for a long period of time. They're built in a sustainable manner so that long term, these are going to be wonderful homes to live in. At Bank of America, we have a very strong commitment to San Francisco. We were founded here over 100 years ago, and we invested $2.2 billion into SFRAD. And so that's a big investment for us. To give you some perspective, in 2017, we lent and invested 4.5 billion across the country. So we put a significant amount of our resources here and are so happy to see the progress that's been made and the transformation. We also provide foundation money. So last year we provided $5.1 million to local nonprofits, and we have about 4,200 associates in the market, and they also put in 40,000 community service volunteer hours. One of the concepts we talk about Bank of America is shared success, and we are not successful unless the customers and communities we serve are successful as well. So this project was all about that. At Sala Burton, our purpose was to help the residents succeed in their quality of life and to live in safe, comfortable homes. Thank you so much for including Bank of America in this exciting work. We are so proud to be your partners. Thank you.
And now it's my great pleasure to introduce Beverly Saba.
We are here to honor and celebrate 4 women who are our founding mothers for RAD in San Francisco. Barbara Smith and Alicia Siska of the Housing Authority, London Breed, President of the Board of Supervisors, now Mayor, and Nancy Pelosi. Without these women, RAD would not have been able to come to San Francisco and be launched as the class act that it is. Barbara and Alicia had the sad task of informing us that the traditional funding was not in any way adequate to take care of the habitability of our housing and ultimately our housing itself. They worked or applied to get RAD to come to San Francisco, and it meant that the Housing Authority had to completely restructure itself, which was revolutionary and daunting. But their commitment was absolutely to the tenants inhabiting the housing that they were providing. They made sure, these 2 women, I know there were other people, but primarily these 2 women made sure that RAD could come to San Francisco. Housing Authority had to go through a lot of goalposts passing through in order to get it here. They did it. Now it's here, or it can be here. Public financing and private financing, it had to be launched. They had to be brought together. So London Breed, when Mayor Ed Lee announced the reimagining of public housing, got right on board. And she put her effort in, and it was a positive effort to get this to happen here. And Nancy Pelosi, using her political influence, which is formidable, her political power, and her savvy, made sure that it was launched, and launched as a class act. When our building was scheduled to be renovated, TNDC sent their project manager, Tom Lauterbach, and the architect, Chris Duncan, to talk to the tenants. Their question to us, what do you want? Not once, not twice, but 4 times, at least 4 times. We spoke. They'd come back and they'd say, well, we can do this, but we can't do that because of code. Let's figure out something else. First time anybody asked us what the hell we wanted. And good for them. One of the things we advocated for was a community room. We didn't have one. Voila. They built us this room. It did not exist. TNDC got in and they built it for us. So I want to make sure everybody understands TNDC and our 4 mothers really put on or made sure that RAD became a class act. And to our founding mothers, can we get the flowers, please? Okay. From our heart to yours. Nancy, may I give that to you, please? Okay. Okay. We have Barbara and Alicia. There's one over there. No, that, I'm sorry, sweetheart. This goes to Alicia and Barbara. Right there. All right. So, founding mothers, from our hearts to yours, thank you. Beverly, you should be over here in the middle of all of
Come.
this. You caused all this stir.
Thank you. Thank you, Beverly.
You're welcome. Come on, Barbara.
We'll do photos afterwards. Is that all right?